Disney Studios of the gaming industry, it's no stretch to say that Nintendo has changed the face of not only the video game industry, but pop culture in general. While we may remember the most iconic characters as being the face of their company, for every Yoshi or Link there are plenty of lesser characters who are annoying, forgettable, or downright bizarre. Whether they be mainstays in their series or random one-off characters never heard from again, today we're picking out our least favorite characters we've found in our favorite games. I'm Caleb with One Up Binge, and this is the worst Nintendo characters and why they suck. To keep things on an even playing field, we're going to be choosing either one character or one group of characters from each series. Be sure to check out our worst Mario characters video if you want to hear us talk more in depth about that series specifically. With that said, let's jump right into our choices, starting from the least bad Nintendo character and working our way down to the character who sucks the most. We're starting our list off with what many would consider to be the quintessential annoying video game character, Navi. Appearing in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Navi is Link's fairy companion who guides him throughout the game, giving him hints and allowing him to target enemies. That would be all well and good if the character itself was more well-mannered and didn't nag the player throughout the entire journey. Navi's iconic "Hey, listen" catchphrase has been parodied many times in pop culture, mostly due to how so many people can relate to the irritation they felt when listening to Navi's constant pestering. Some may argue that Link's later companions, such as Fi and Minda, are even more annoying than Navi due to their overuse in their respective games. Perhaps, but Navi is still the first companion to start this trend of annoying sidekicks, so we still think she deserves this spot instead of them. Some characters unintentionally suck and others are designed to be failures from the get-go. The latter is the case with Glass Joe from the Punch-Out series. Appearing in the arcade game, NES game, and Wii game as the first fighter, Glass Joe is a French boxer who is portrayed as abnormally weak and cowardly. His loss to win ratio is 99-1, and personally, we think that one was probably rigged. Many people know that the Punch-Out games are notorious for their difficulty, especially in the later matches of the championship. Glass Joe is meant to lure the players into a false sense of security, making them believe the rest of the game is gonna be a cakewalk. This was a great way to get arcade players to keep popping in quarters after receiving a boost in confidence from Glass Joe's match. The guy is a walking punchline, both in terms of this series and the actual world of sports. That's right, several professional boxers, football players, and sports newscasters have used the term Glass Joe to refer to players who are performing extremely poorly. When the legacy regarding how much a fictional character sucks is being used in the world of actual sports broadcasting, you know you've cemented yourself a solid spot on today's list. Up next, we have the Duck Hunt Dog. Back before video games featured a lot of voice acting or dialogue, annoying characters were pretty few and far between. I suppose kudos to the Duck Hunt Dog for finding a way to be as grating as possible regardless. In the NES game Duck Hunt, this hunting dog hides in the grass as the player shoots ducks out of the sky. If successful, the dog holds the duck up triumphantly, but if not, he laughs at the player. This iconic chuckle was enough to send many players into a fury. If you've ever held an NES Zapper in your hand, we're willing to bet you've aimed at this dog several times, hoping in vain that it'll put a bullet in its head. This even led to a popular internet rumor that there was a way to kill the dog upon its laughing. While this isn't true, it is possible to shoot the dog in the bonus round of the arcade game versus Duck Hunt. Whether it's general players, liars on the internet, or even Duck Hunt's designers making a re-release of the game, it seems anyone and everyone wants to find a way to blow that dog's snarky smile off of his face. Probably the most obscure character on our list, we're giving the next spot to Mr. Prongs. Chibi Robo is often cited as one of the best and most overlooked GameCube games to ever be released, with a lot of that praise being directed towards the game's engaging and diverse cast of characters. One character who we're sure had absolutely nothing to do with that success is Mr. Prongs. This thing is found in the Sandersons' living room and grows whenever he hears the noise of Chibi Robo banging his spoon against the floor. If Chibi Robo fails to grow Mr. Prongs to his desired size, then he will angrily drop a tin plate on the robot's head. The design of Mr. Prongs is even stranger than his function, being an overweight, blue-skinned creature in underwear with a plug for a head. This has to be one of the most random characters ever, but not in a good way. Instead, Mr. Prongs feels lazily slapped together and out of place even in a game full of odd characters. We're not sure if Mr. Prongs is a toy, alien, or some other being, but what we are sure of is that he's a lackluster character amongst an otherwise amazing cast. Now we're moving on to a collective group ranking of the Kremling Racers from Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. We had to think long and hard about who the worst Donkey Kong characters are, mostly because these Kremlings and this game have mercifully vanished from the subconscious of many. In Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, there are two teams of racers, the Kongs and the Kremlings. The Kongs are all comprised of characters who we know and love, even bringing Lanky and Tiny out of retirement, which was really cool. The Kremlings, on the other hand, have only 4 recognizable characters, those being King K. Rool, Critter, Copter, and Clump. The other half of their team is comprised of Kip, Cass, Calypso, and Clutch, who are new and really lame. Generally speaking, we think it's a bad idea to create new characters for spin-off titles when unnecessary. Not only do the new characters usually end up coming across as uninspired, but it also prevents the fans of the series from seeing their favorites returning for a new game. There is no reason Kip, Cass, Calypso, and Clutch couldn't be replaced with Claptrap, Crunch, Crusha, and Clubba, especially when Clutch looks like a recolored Clubba anyway. Much like everything else about Barrel Blast, the Kremling Racers are better left forgotten. Setting up shop in our next spot is Tom Nook from the Animal Crossing series. Ever since the first Animal Crossing game on GameCube, or Nintendo 64 if you're Japanese, Tom Nook has been one of the most prominent village members in the series, appearing in all subsequent entries. He more or less kicks off the main conflict in each game, putting the player in mountains of debt that they'll have to slowly recover from through performing various jobs. We'll give the game writers this: they really nailed the traits of a soulless entrepreneur through the characterization of Tom Nook. Points for accuracy, but that doesn't make Tom Nook a less despicable character in himself. Tom Nook is the perfect combination of a lazy, greedy, and manipulative that makes him the pseudo-antagonist of the Animal Crossing games. He's the type of character who sees everyone around him as stepping stones that he can use to get to where he wants to be financially. Moping his way into the next spot is Negative Man from Mother 3. Remember how we said earlier that we believed this single win Glass Joe received was probably rigged? If he was fighting Negative Man, then that win actually makes a lot of sense. Negative Man appears as a one-time enemy in a cave in Argilla Pass. A one-time enemy has to suck pretty badly to make it this far down our list, and Negative Man meets those criteria. First of all, Negative Man is a yellow rectangle with arms and legs, making him one of the laziest designs out of any character in the entire Mother trilogy. That's a bad start, but the battle with Negative Man makes it even worse. Instead of attacking, Negative Man spends most of his turns pouting and making cynical comments such as, "I'm nothing but a worthless protoplasm, and there's no way I can win." In the rare event he does attack, said attack only does 1 damage to the characters. It sounds like it would make for a short boss battle, but Negative Man's health is actually very high. This means the player will be wailing on him and listening to his whining constantly while waiting for this battle to end. Negative Man might be the worst one-off villain in video game game history, making him a shoo-in for a high/low spot, depending on how you look at it, on our countdown. Crash landing into our next spot, we have Louie from the Pikmin series. First appearing in Pikmin 2, Louie was apparently transporting a supply of golden Pikmin carrots when he was ambushed by a space bunny who ate all of his supply. As a result, Olimar and Louie traveled back to the Pikmin planet to find treasure to keep their company out of debt. Throughout the majority of Pikmin 2, Louie doesn't seem that bad. A bit dopey perhaps, but relatively funny and efficient at his job of assisting Olimar. However, beating all 30 challenge mode levels with a perfect score unlocks a hidden cutscene called Louie's Dark Secret. Here it is revealed that Louie was actually the one who ate all the golden Pikmin carrots, thus putting his own company in debt and kicking off the events of the game. Louie appears once again in Pikmin 3, where he is rescued by the Koopites after being swarmed by Scornets. How does Louie repay this favor? By stealing all of their juice supply while they're sleeping, of course. The Pikmin games are full of large, menacing monsters, but the biggest threat to the protagonist seems to be Louie's negligence and selfishness. It's no wonder he's been left behind multiple times as the players fly back to their home planet. The bronze medal for worst Nintendo character is being given to Slippy Toad. Between Navi, Tom Nook, and to a lesser extent Tingle, the Nintendo 64 really seemed to be the era that gave birth to more irritating characters than any other in the company's history. Out of all of them, no one quite got on the players' nerves to the same extent as Slippy Toad. Even though Slippy technically had his debut on the Super Nintendo along with Fox, Falco, and Peppy, all four of them were given new dimensions of personality via the use of voice acting in Star Fox 64. What can we really say about Slippy that everyone else on the internet hasn't already said? His constant yelling of "Get this guy off me" as he relentlessly puts himself in danger caused many players either to let enemies shoot him down or actively shoot the amphibian out of the sky themselves. It might be the most cathartic friendly fire you'll ever experience in a video game. While Prince Tricky does rival Slippy as being even more annoying, we're giving the Toad a slight edge due to how frequently he appears in the Star Fox series. The silver medal on our countdown is awarded to Commander Adam Malkovich. The Metroid series isn't exactly known for their deep or compelling characters, which is totally fine given the games aren't that story driven. The development team for Metroid Other M decided to change the pace and add a lot more backstory and cutscenes than players were used to. That's not inherently a bad thing, but not only were the cutscenes way too frequent and overshadowed the gameplay, they often gave the characters within them weird and off-putting personality traits. No one received this treatment worse than Samus's commander Adam, who was previously alluded to in Metroid Fusion. As a commander, Adam Malkovich is embarrassingly bad at his job, putting himself and his crew in highly dangerous situations that could have easily been avoided. That would have been bad enough, but this game also took one of the strongest and most independent female video game heroines and made her extremely loyal and reliant on this clown of a commander. This interpretation of Samus is so bad that many fans of the series like to pretend this game never happened. We all have Adam to thank for being the root cause of this issue. Even if he hasn't appeared much, the damage Adam Malkovich did to his series continuity as a whole is more than enough to give him the silver medal. But real quick, before we get to our next entries, if you're a fan of video games and our usual Spectrum formats, make sure to check out our gaming channel, 1UP Binge. We make video game good to evil videos, villain sentencing videos, and more. And we'd love for you to check it out. Link below. Thanks so much. The gold medal for worst Nintendo character goes to Pink Gold Peach. This might seem redundant since Pink Gold Peach already topped our worst Mario characters list. However, we feel the design, concept, and execution of the character is so awful that she once again deserves to top the list of worst general Nintendo characters. There is literally not one positive aspect we can give to Pink Pink Gold Peach. She's not cute, not funny, not creative, not useful, and not interesting in any way, shape, or form. Years from now, we wouldn't be surprised if Pink Gold Peach is used as an example in character design classes on what not to do during the creative process. While other characters we've talked about on this list like Navi, Slippy, and the Duck Hunt Dog certainly are annoying, they at least were able to carry a legacy of their own due to being memorable in their own right. If Pink Gold Peach never appears in a subsequent Mario game from here on out, we're willing to bet 99% of Mario fans wouldn't notice, and the 1% that did wouldn't want her back. For all these reasons, we can't think of anyone better to fulfill the criteria as the absolute worst Nintendo character. But let us know who you think the worst Nintendo character is. Did we miss any? And if you need a one-up, make sure to hit that notification bell and binge our other Nintendo videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.